Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Transparency and Ethics. We have 4 fee fund budgets to hear today, so we'll see how quick we get through those in our hour so we can get to our next meeting. First, we have Board of Barbering, and we have the budget overview by Research Harris. Yes, go ahead, Harris. Thank you. And you pronounce your last name because I'm not quite sure.
Madam Chair, that's Sheikh.
Sheikh.
I've heard different variations of it, so Harris is fine if that works for you.
Oh, right, Harris, perfect. Well, you go right ahead, and you have our first 2.
Yes, ma'am.
So you go ahead with the overview, and then speaking in person, we have the administrative officer, so you can introduce her when it's appropriate. Okay, thank you, Harris.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, good morning. My name is Harris for the record, from KLRD. I will be talking about the budget of the Board of Barbering. In the audience here is Cassiopeia Capps. She's the administrative officer, and there's also Jerry Bryant, who's the inspector with the agency. I'll start real quick on page number 1. The purpose of the board is to protect the health and welfare of the consuming public through enforcement of statutes regarding sanitation and barbering profession. First couple of pages are the executive summary, so I will move to page number 4 here, which looks at figure 5, the Board of Barbering Fee Fund. The board is an entirely fee-funded agency. Revenues received provide funding for all the agency operations per statute. 90% are retained by the agency and 10% are deposited to the state general fund. If we look at page 6 here, that is a fiscal year 2022 analysis. Subsequent to the 2021 session, no adjustments were made to the $158,683 appropriated to the Board of Barbering for fiscal year 2022. The agency estimates revised operating expenditures of $178,073, all from the Board of Barbering Fee Fund in fiscal year 2022. This is an increase of $19,390, or 12.2%, above the amount appropriated by the 2021 legislature. The agency has supplemental requests for the computer-based testing contract. An outside vendor used to begin administrating the computer-based testing for the Board of Barbering theory exam in August 2020. The company did not receive invoice for fiscal year 2021, so the oversight was brought to the vendor. As a result, the agency will be charged for both fiscal year 2021 and 2022 out of the fiscal year 2022 budget. So this increases their contractual services estimated by $12,702. The agency also has a supplemental request for OITS fees. This is, the agency has transitioned onto the OITS database and has leased computers. There's a supplemental request for attorney fees per the contract with the Attorney General's office. That increases the estimate by $1,500. And the board also voted to increase the hours of the administrative officer from 24 hours to 32 hours per week. The governor concurs with the agency's fiscal year 2022 budget, and I will pause for questions about 2022 at this point.
Well, thank you, Harris. That was very thorough. Do we have questions for Harris? Okay, I don't see any. Go ahead and proceed to the next year.
Okay, 2023, no changes were made to the $159,162 appropriated to the board for fiscal year 2023. The agency's revised expenditures estimate include are $172,842, all from the Board of Barbering Fee Fund. This is an increase of $13,678, or 8.6% above the amount approved. There's enhancement requests for the same CBT contract. There's an enhancement request for the attorney fees, same as fiscal year 2022, and the audit fees, again, same as 2022. The administrative assistance hours are also up to 32 in FY 2023. The governor concurs, and that's all I have for 2023. I'll pause for questions here at this point.
Senator Warren.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for your presentation today. If we can go back to the future for just a minute, and if I can ask this question on 2022, the enhancement of $1,500 for attorney fees, on page 8, item number 3 there. Is that because more complaints are being received by the board, or what's the increase to address?
Madam Chair, Senator, my understanding is for the 3 or 4 agencies that I've done budgets for, this is across the board per contract with so I think the rate for counsel for agencies that contract with the Attorney General's office, the rate has increased, and I think that is a formula based on off of the cases they receive.
Great, and that's been worked out in the contract and all, and thank you very much for clarifying that.
Thank you, Senator.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Don't see any other questions. I also have on the agenda who would like to speak to us, Cassiopeia Capps, Administrative Officer, Kansas Board of Barbering. Would you like to speak with us? Would you just like us to ask questions, or did you have some words for us?
I submitted my verbal testimony in writing to you all, so I mean, if it would be easier for y'all, I would gladly sit for any questions instead of taking time to go through it. Or would you prefer that I just read?
No, and we have this right here in front of us. Do we have any questions? How long have you been in your position?
I've been here for just over a year, but I've been with the board for over 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, Senator Erickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question. I noticed there was an issue with invoicing with the CBT, and I'm guessing that that has been ironed out at this point.
Yes, Senator, it has. When we were going over our budget, we realized that SMT had failed to invoice our company for the fiscal year 21. So as soon as we caught that, we contacted them, and I even submitted a letter that SMT provided to us saying that it was their oversight, but it has all been ironed out.
Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In looking at the schedule of license fees on page 4, I see that you are operating generally at the top of all of those except for the barber instructor license. But I also see that your ending balance has remained pretty much the same for the last 3 years. So these fees are enough to cover the expenses of the board.
It does appear to be that way. I believe there was one fee we were looking at in statutes, possibly later on this session, to try to change, but that would be the reexamination fee, because with the SMT CBT changes, we realized that instead of being billed $58 for every test, it is now $76 for every test. And our reexamination fee is marked right now at, I believe, 75? Is it 75, Jerry? Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us and speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
So, any other questions? Committee, do I have a motion? Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the committee concur with the governor's recommendations for the fiscal year 22 and 23 budgets for the Board of Barbering.
Okay, thank you. And a second? Senator Reichman, any discussion? All right, that's a vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. All right, motion carries. Harris, you are back up with us. We have the budget overview on the Board of Cosmetology.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Harris again here from KLRD. For the record, I will be talking about Board of Cosmetology here. I have in the audience here Chairman David Yoakum and Laura Glockner. She's the executive director of the agency. There's Aubrey Pryor also. I don't know if she's here or will be joining through WebEx. Real quick, the mission of the agency is to protect the health and welfare of the consuming public by licensing qualified individuals and enforcing high standards of practice. Number 2, page number 2 is executive summary. I'm looking at figure 5 at page number 3 here, the cosmetology fee fund expenditures. Again, it's a fee-funded agency. 90% of the per statute, 90% of the revenues are retained by the agency. 10% are remitted to the state general fund. The expenditures have been steady between the $1 million to $1.1 million range, going back to fiscal year 2014. Moving on to page 4 here, that's the cosmetology fee fund expenditures, revenue, and ending balance analysis going back to FY 2019. Again, pretty steady. The agency does expect increased expenditure estimates slightly in fiscal year 2023. That would be because of the attorney fee increase, I understand, per contract. I'm looking at page number 6 here, below figure 8, the fiscal year 2022 analysis. Subsequent to 2021, no adjustments were made to the $1.2 million appropriated to the Board of Cosmetology. The agency has revised estimates, operating estimates of $1.1 million, all from the cosmetology fee fund in 2022. This is a decrease of $17,401, or 1.5% below the amount approved. The agency adjustments include decreases in employee benefits. The agency decreased its contributions for employee benefits by $18,492 in fiscal year 2022. These include healthcare, retirement, and unemployment compensation. The agency slightly increased estimates for miscellaneous other adjustments. The governor concurs with the agency's FY 2022 estimates, and I'll pause for questions about 22 here.
Any questions on 22? All right, you go ahead to 23.
All right, 2023, page number 8 here. Subsequent to the 2021 session, no adjustments were made to the $1.2 million appropriated to the agency or to the Board of Cosmetology for 2023. The agency estimates revised operating expenditures of $1.2 million, all from the cosmetology fee fund. This is a decrease of $9,111, or 0.8% below the amount approved for the fiscal year 2023. The agency adjustments include the attorney fees. The agency increased its estimate for attorney fees per contract with the Attorney General's office by $12,500. And again, the agency decreased its estimate for employee retirement and health benefits by $23,251 for fiscal year 2023. The governor concurs, and that's all I have for 2023.
Thank you, Harris. Senator Dahl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Harris, could you explain to me why there was a 25%? Oh, this is, wait, I got to wait for David on this one. I'm sorry, I was ahead of you.
That's fine, Senator.
We'll save that one then, Senator Dahl. Any other questions? All right, and then I do have on our agenda David Yoakum, Chairman, Kansas Board of Cosmetology, for questions. Laura Glockner, Executive Director, Kansas Board of Cosmetology, for questions. And Aubrey Pryor, Kansas Board of Cosmetology, for questions. Do we have any questions for any of the administrative? Or would you like to speak with us, David?
I'll answer questions.
Okay. Okay. Senator Dahl.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Come on up, David. So David Yoakum is the chairman of the board. Welcome.
Thank you, David. I was reading through this, and it said there is a 25% rate increase for legal representation from the AG's office. That's pretty significant. Can you explain why?
We thought so too, and we've had questions about that, but we understand that they've looked at the workload that they have, and they're doing, it's across to other agencies as well. So that's what we know at this point.
Cosmetology is really making the AG's office pretty busy, huh?
I don't think that we've increased any of our, Lori can answer that probably as well.
So, and go ahead and identify yourself.
My name is Laura Glockner. I'm the Executive Director of the Board of Cosmetology. We received a letter saying for FY23 that we should budget for a 25% increase. And when I asked for more information, the only reason I was given was because of a statute change concerning the amount of money that could be charged for the Board of Indigence Defense, which is what they based that off. I did ask specifically whether there's been a workload increase, and I was told no. So from what I know, it's a 25% increase across the board.
Senator Dahl, were you finished?
Yeah, just seems pretty significant.
Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm wondering if we could, if you have the dollar amount that's that increase would represent?
Yes.
62,000. We currently pay 51.
51, yeah, 51 to 62. So it's, yeah, 11,000.
And is it sorry, Madam Chair, is it did it end up being a 25% increase, or was it a 20% increase?
25 is what we were told, yes. But I have to go back and do the math on that. Glad you asked that question. We didn't actually put the pen to paper yet, but, you know, on the percentage piece, we just know we got the increase.
Madam Chair, I
You
was
said a
asked.
dollar amount, correct?
So go ahead and continue. Yeah.
I was asking because I understood that the rates for the Board of Defense went from 80 to 100, and so that would be a 20% increase. We might want to ask some questions about this before it all gets to Ways and Means.
Senator McGinn.
Thank you.
I don't know which analyst wants to answer this, but we've been working on the bids increase for a long time and had no idea that it just goes out, and it seems to be the base for all other agencies now that everybody can raise. You don't have to answer that. An analyst can.
Thank you.
You can answer it if you want.
I don't have an answer for that.
No, it's just, it's a trigger. So we were trying to help bids, and it triggered all fee agencies that they could raise their pay.
Yes.
So does an analyst want to talk about this now, or we can talk about it in Ways and Means?
Thank you, Harris.
Madam Chair, Senator, unfortunately, that's the information I have as well, that out of the 6 agencies that I've worked on, I think at least 4 have the same increase. And the explanation I received was that this was across the board to kind of bring all the agencies at the same level. And I can look into it, do more research for it, and get back to you before it goes to SWAM, but this is the information I
No,
have
it
at
needs
the
to
moment.
get talked about in SWAM, and Martin found the statute. I just need to find out the history of the statute,
Right.
why it all got tied together.
I can look into it, and so once we get there, I will hopefully have more information for you.
Thank you, Harris. Any other questions? Okay. I'm prepared for a motion committee. Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the committee concur with the governor's recommendations for FY '22 and '23 for the budget for the Board of Cosmetology.
Second, Senator Aletha Fasco-Doe. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you for being with us, Harris. Next, we have the Kansas Dental Board with the budget overview. Megan Leopold, welcome to the committee, Megan.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Megan Leopold with Kansas Legislative Research. I'll be reviewing the dental board budget. On page 1, you can see that the dental board their main duties are licensing qualified candidates, inspections of licensed facilities to ensure sanitation and safety compliance, and they also investigate complaints against the Kansas Dental Practice Act. The agency is entirely funded through the Dental Board Fee Fund. If you skip forward to page 5, you can see the agency's fiscal year '22 analysis. The legislature made no adjustments to the budget. The agency has made no adjustments to what was approved by the 2021 legislature. The budget continues, their revised budget is continued at $418,500 with 3 FTEs. And then the governor concurred with the agency's estimate for fiscal year '22.
Any questions on 22? Very thorough. Go ahead and move on.
On page 7, you'll see the fiscal year '23 analysis. Much like fiscal year '22, the agency's request remained the same at $417,000. They included 3.0 FTEs positions in their budget, and the governor concurred with the agency's request.
All right. Any questions on? Seems very straightforward. Very nice job. Senator Dahl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did they get hit for the 25% increase in attorney fees?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't see
It
it.
was not included in their budget.
Any other questions? All right. Senator Francisco.
Is someone here from the dental board?
Yes.
So we do have, for questions, Charity Carlette at Kansas Dental Board. Would you like to ask her a question? Say, for instance, come on up and identify yourself and welcome to the committee.
I'm Charity Carlett. I'm a senior administrative specialist with the dental board.
And Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for being here. The question I had was in looking at Figure 6 on page 4, which identifies the ending balance for the board, and it's gone up fairly significantly from fiscal year 19, when it was a little below 800,000, and now it's going to increase even another 100,000 from 22 to 23. So what can, has the board looked at that, and is there any opportunity to reduce fees so that this fund doesn't continue to increase?
Well, what we've had to kind of explain the differences actually between fiscal year 20 and even fiscal year 2021, where you see that big difference in fiscal year 20, right before COVID started, our third person actually passed away, not from COVID, but so she died as an active state employee from a heart attack. And so we had to pay out on that. So it jumped up really high because the payouts for an active state employer are a lot higher being active. And then the following year, we had to hold it open because of COVID. So we had, I think it was close to, what, $40,000 that we had left sitting on the table?
Go ahead, Senator.
I think you may have misunderstood my question. I'm not questioning your expenditures. There's a yellow line. Again, it's
What
it's
page?
Figure 6 on page 4.
Okay, see, I must not have the same thing as you. My page 4 is, I don't have that, sorry. Oh, thank you.
And sometimes that's hard because this is paperwork that's internal. But Figure 6 on page 4, it shows the revenue and expenditures, but it also shows the ending balance. And so my question was, have you looked at the ending balance, and is there any opportunity to reduce fees so that those funds don't continue to accumulate? We all know that nobody's making money off of bank accounts. So that was my question. And if you can't answer that today, I don't have a problem with the budget, but I would like the board to review that this next year.
So just so I'm understanding you correctly, because I guess I got thrown off with the 800,000.
Okay.
Since that was like, you're talking about down here, the 380 to then like the 417.
No, this is Figure 6. It's the one with the colors.
Yeah, right, this one, right?
She's talking about the ending balance and how it continues to go up.
Okay, I guess that's.
And I think the question is, has the agency talked about reducing fees
Gotcha.
to help so it's not so high?
Gotcha. No, I mean, we have not really talked about that, because I guess most of the stuff that we've looked at on our increases going up, I guess, and this might not answer it completely, is since we're more of just footprint and people, you know, our footprints in the building have raised slowly over the years, like everything else, and then same with healthcare and everything. So I think we've kind of just had to tick it up just a little bit because of that.
So I appreciate the increase in expenditures, and I'm just asking if you would take back to the board a question about those ending balances, and then a review of the license fees to make sure that they don't continue to increase. And also, I think for an agency that has an annual budget of less than $500,000, I'd like to see an ending balance less than $1 million.
Any other questions, committee? Senator McGinn.
This is a little off budget, but it's the only time we get to see you guys. But can you tell me, does the board have an association of some type that goes in and does the dental screening for children on a voluntary basis? Because it seems that KDHE has taken over the load, and years ago, dentists volunteered their time to go into schools. Do you have anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, the KDHE has had their oral screening for the schools for, well, as long as I know that I've been with the board, which has been 8 years, that's what they've always done, so.
50 years ago, dentists volunteered and went in.
Yeah, that's past me.
Okay, well, you can
But yeah.
remind them. Thank you.
We might remember those little pink pills that we would put in our mouth and color our teeth and go home with pink teeth to our parents.
Show where you didn't brush. Yeah.
That's right. All right, any other questions? Okay, I see none. Thank you for being with us, Charity. Yes, and do I have a motion on this? That's Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move that the committee concur with the governor's recommendations for fiscal years 22 and 23 for the Kansas Dental Board, with the note that the committee has asked the board to look at the ending balance in their fee fund and to consider reductions in license fees in the future.
So would I have a second? Senator Fascadeau, any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, our last budget, we're doing really well on time. It's the Board of Nursing and our overview by research, Megan Leopold again. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be reviewing the Board of Nursing budget. Like the dental board, the Board of Nursing is entirely funded with fee funds. They license professional nurses. They approve CEUs and accredit nursing schools. They also investigate complaints and violations of the Nurses Practice Act. I'll skip forward to page 7, or I'm sorry, 6, the fiscal year 22 analysis. You can see that the legislature, no changes were made to the legislature approved amount in 2021. The Board of Nursing did not make any changes in their revised budget request for fiscal year 22. And then in fiscal year 22, the governor did add $24,000 to the budget, and that's part of the nurse pay adjustment. That's that 24/7 pay adjustment that did impact a few of the employees at the Board of Nursing. I'm happy to stand for any questions for fiscal year 22.
Any questions on 22? Okay, move on then to 23, Megan.
All right, fiscal year 23 is on page 8. On page 8, you can see that between fiscal year the 21 approved amount, the agency has asked for an additional $116,000. This is for licensing software upgrades. This will help them to ensure that the security regulations are being met for the information that they have. It is a project that is expected to cost about $160,000 total. They had already budgeted for $43,000 of that. and so that lowered the asking amount to $116,000 for that fiscal year. The governor concurred with the agency's revised estimate and then also added an additional $45,000. And again, that's for that nurse pay adjustment.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Any questions for Megan on either year? I do have on our agenda Carol Moreland, the Executive Director. Would you like to speak with us, Carol, and answer any questions we might have? So go ahead and identify yourself for the record.
I'm Carol Moreland. I'm the administrator for the Kansas Board of Nursing. And I gave you a handout that I don't think I really have anything else to add. I did include our fiscal year 21 annual report that tells a little bit more about the Board of Nursing, if that's something that you're interested in. Other than that, I can just stand for questions if that's what you would like.
Okay. Senator Reichman.
Thank you very much. And I didn't read your big packet you had here, but we hear so much of the nursing shortage across the state. I mean, every hospital you talk to and whatever. I did see you had an ad in here. I wonder if you'd give me an update or if you guys have any role in that of recruiting or retention. I know the governor put more money in that aspect of it. I just appreciate your comments, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. I do get this question a lot, as you can probably imagine. We do not really have statutory authority to get into recruitment and stuff like that. Our statutory authority is basically licensing, overseeing education, and then the investigative and the discipline if there's been a violation of the Nurse Practice Act. So to answer your question, we feel like our part is just to license them as fast as we can. And be available to answer questions. And what we've also tried very hard to do is keep so much automated in our facility, because we have employers who will look at 2 o'clock in the morning to see a nursing license. Okay, we are not open at 2 o'clock in the morning, but we have so much automated that they can actually go to our website and see the information, you know, the license number, make sure it's active. If we have a nurse who wants to renew her license at 2 o'clock in the morning, she can do that. That's all automated. So we've worked very hard, and that's how we feel that we can contribute to it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Carol. I really do appreciate your handout, too, on page 10 with the map of Kansas with the licensees across the state. That's very helpful information. And then also our colleges, which programs that they offer. That's very good information for us to know. Very much appreciate that. Senator Fascado.
I do have a quick question, a follow-up on Senator Reichman's question. So with the need now of more therapists or psychiatrists, so do you see an increase there of people applying for, getting licensures for?
We have seen an increase in applications for nursing licenses. You know, the end of fiscal year 21 ended the first 2 years of the Nurse Licensure Compact. And we knew going into the Nurse Licensure Compact that it was estimated that we would lose a fair amount of money because we will lose licensees, not nurses who can come into Kansas and work. Just please understand that. What we found that happened, and this kind of blows people's minds, but again, if I can explain it to you, we did drop off about 6,000 licensees at the end of fiscal year 21. But that is not 6,000 nurses who cannot practice in Kansas. That is 6,000 nurses who have a multi-state license from one of those other 38 states that can come into Kansas on that multi-state license and work in Kansas. I will just tell you a big thank you to the legislature for passing that Nurse Licensure Compact. That has made a huge difference during the pandemic. But we still have those states who are not part of it. And so we have seen applications from those states. So we have seen our applications go up a little bit. So that's good. You know, unfortunately, we are not probably putting out the number of nurses from our nursing schools to replace all of this, but we're hoping, over time, maybe things kind of, get back to normal.
Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the budget document, they've given us some information on that nursing licensure compact, but also about K-Trax. And, I understand at one point we were able to delete the transfer, and now it has started again. Do you have any comments for us about the K-Trax program and ideas for funding, or from the nursing point of view?
K-Trax is extremely important to the citizens of Kansas for the protecting the citizens of Kansas. So the Board of Nursing is very committed to it continuing, however that needs to be. We are willing to do the fee transfer to support it, definitely. We wish that that didn't happen, that there would be another way for funding. And I know Alexandria is working on federal funds and grants and different stuff like that. So she, from the Board of Pharmacy, they try very, very hard to find funding. But I will just tell you, it's an extremely important program to Kansas.
Have another question, Senator Francisco?
Not another question, but just that I appreciate that commitment. I agree that it's an important program, but I have a little angst when I know that some of a nurse's salary is taken in fees to pay for that program.
Exactly, yeah.
Senator Dahl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whenever we turn back to normal, whatever that is, how do you feel about out-of-state nurses coming in? I mean, will that change? Because, we have to have it now because of COVID.
I just want to clarify, are you talking out-of-state nurses that have a multi-state license, or out-of-state nurses that are licensed in another state and are not licensed in Kansas?
Both.
Okay. I think the multi-state is great. We have 11 uniform licensure requirements that every state that's part of the Nurse Licensure Compact have to meet. So we know exactly what has been done with those nurses before they were licensed from that state. So we feel very confident about those. I guess I have mixed feelings about out-of-state nurses just being able to come in here based on the fact that they're licensed in another state. I don't know that every state for single state license has exactly the same requirements. And so you may find that a nurse comes in here from a state that is not part of the compact, and their licensing requirements may have been less than what has been set for Kansas.
Senator Dahl.
I live in, my district borders up to Oklahoma and Colorado. We have a extreme difficult time getting nurses and such. So we have a lot of county hospitals that really have even more hard time. So I hope when this is all said and done that we keep that in consideration.
Okay. All right.
Senator McGinn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just to add to that, I think our hospital is trying to hire 6 to 8 Nigerians, and I see that you're going to have a meeting finally on that about the tests that they take, and there's 2 different language tests. Is that the test that's the hang-up, is the language?
Yeah, because we require that they have to be proficient in English. So whenever there's a nurse coming in who's been educated in a foreign country that was not taught in English, that's the key right there, then we require that they take an English proficiency test. The one that we use is the TOEFL, and it's like the test of English proficiency and language or something like that. And it actually looks at 4 different things: speaking, listening, reading, and I can't remember the fourth one, I'm sorry, off the top of my head. But we have, pardon me? Yeah, might be. But we actually have scores that they have to meet on that. Now, the Nurse Practice Act says it can be a similar examination if approved by the board. And we've never really run into a problem of just having TOEFL until what's happening right now. And it's my understanding that some of those nurses are coming in with the other English proficiency test and do not want to do the TOEFL. And so the Hospital Association actually talked to me about this. So we are gathering information and taking it back to the next board meeting, which is in March, so that then they can see if they want to approve the second one, and then there would be two options. But again, they would have to get a passing score, and the board would have to determine that and stuff.
Any other questions, committee? Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Erickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for being here. I got to looking through the Board of Nursing annual report, and on page 19, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this right. This is the Nclex first-time passing rate. So when I look at that, and it says the percent of candidates, I take it you want to be a lower number. In other words, the higher the rank, the worse the percentage of students who pass the Nclex on the first attempt is. Am I reading that chart correctly?
Well, this is how we rank among the 50 states, okay? So if we have a higher score, we actually rank lower, okay? And our pass rates for the RN is not what we would like to see. So we're working on that, and hopefully it's gonna, I know the nursing programs are very aware of this and are working very hard to make some changes. There's so many things that play into how a student does on the licensure exam, yeah.
Thank you for that. And I would just say, we all understand, to Senator Dahl's point, that there is a shortage, and I've heard talk about we need to make sure we increase training opportunities. And with that, I just want to make sure that we're producing both quantity and quality healthcare providers. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Senator Warren.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank you for coming over and presenting the budget and testifying in committee today. It's good to see you again. You've been in the Joint Rules and Regs Committee, sharing that information there as well. And thank you for coming over to the Capitol today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I don't see any other. Carol, thank you for being with us and your extra information. Those of us who don't sit on health and some of the other committees, we don't hear that. So it's very important. So we see what's happening in our own districts with your situation. So thank you for being with us. Committee, I think we're ready for a motion. Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee concur with the governor's recommendations for the Board of Nursing for fiscal years 22 and 23.
And Senator McGinn seconds. All those in favor, or any discussion? Any of those? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, Harris and Macon, for being with us today and doing such a nice job. That, last Monday we had 7 of these, so 4 flows much easier in our time frame. There is one more thing on our agenda we can clear off. If Randy had sent out minutes for January 19th, 26th, 7th, and 9th, would you care to vote on approval of those, or do you want the weekend to look at those? All right, would you have a motion to approve?
I need the weekend.
Oh, you want the weekend? Sure, you go ahead. We'll deal with that next week. So we'll leave that on the agenda. And we do meet. Oh, go ahead. We do have a meeting on Monday, just to let you know, because the snow days through is off. So Senator McGinn.
I think your ranking member needs to say something about her chair for tomorrow.
So if we could just wish our chair happy birthday. It's going to be tomorrow, right? Yes. Yes, happy birthday, Elaine.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
We're adjourned.